Meteorologist Tuttle here. For years, I've been recommending Ferguson Roof Systems to homeowners across Oklahoma. So when Mother Nature struck my house, it was an easy call to make. There's no one I would trust more than Ferguson Roof Systems for my home's roof. Since 1977, Ferguson has led the industry with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and lifetime warranties. Plus, they'll even deal with the insurance companies so you don't have to. So when Mother Nature strikes, make your first call to Ferguson Roof Systems.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Tuttle back with you. It is about 9:48. Wanted to get on around 9:30, but had to eat and I was tired. That's some other things to do, but I'm back. We're going to talk about the forecast for the remainder of tonight and tomorrow to see if we're still going to be dealing with severe weather as we kickstart our work week. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and share the video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather, where they can get all of the weather information that they need without all the hype and the drama and all the theatrics that you can find elsewhere. We don't need none of that right here, so we don't do it here. Let's take a look first off at the big picture, get you up to speed here of where the current precipitation and everything is. I actually had some clear skies, popping through my roof cam here, which was nice just to finally see a beautiful sunset with a little bit of mamadas out there. It was a pretty nice little evening here across Oklahoma City and western Oklahoma, but eastern Oklahoma still was under the gun for quite a few showers and thunderstorms, and even did a cut in there for southeast Oklahoma. They had a lot of tornado warnings, but I don't think any of them verified as far as official touchdowns. We had an unconfirmed report. That's all I could find at the moment, but I went ahead and covered those anyway just in case. But those all dissipated shortly thereafter as far as anything tornadic is concerned. And we still have the continuation of some good rainfall here across the Tulsa area into eastern Oklahoma from Mounds to Beggs, Okmulgee, Henrietta, down toward Wetumpka, Holdenville, McAllister even. And then we have some new heavier development back around Purcell, Wayne, Lindsay, stretches down toward Velma, Comanche, and back into Ranlet and into northwestern Texas, across around Wichita Falls. So Oklahoma City right now, like we said, is mostly quiet, exception a few sprinkles down around the Norman area. So that's a big picture, big look at the big picture as to what's been happening. Now, we've had a lot of rain the last couple of days. This is the estimated rainfall amounts from the radar systems around the state. And I'll show you just kind of the hot spots here in the Piedmont area, about 6.5 inches of rainfall out here toward El Reno, also coming up just under 6.5 inches of rain. Elsewhere, the body of the metro itself is anywhere between, on the low end, about 3.5 to the upper end, closer to 6. There's 6 inches here around the Newcastle, Blanchard area. Norman also, 5 inches on the north side of town. 3.5 on the south side of town. Remember, Norman floods pretty easy. Here north and east from Edmond on up toward Arcadia, up around 5 inches plus. So Edmond's kind of hit and miss. Depends. If you're on the west side of Edmond like me, you had almost 6 inches of rain. If you're on the east side, maybe about 4 inches. Then we head on down south a little bit. We'll go to Lindsay. Down here, 6 to 5 inches of rainfall around Pauls Valley and Paola. Looks like around 7 inches there, around Wynnewood as well. That stretches on up to about 7 inches as you head up toward Tecumseh and Shawnee. So some big rains there for central Oklahoma. The heaviest stuff, though, was just east from there. If you head out 62 between Prague and Okemah, up around 8.5. And look here, close to 9 inches by the time you head up around the Braggs area. Then, if you want to take the cake, who won the contest so far? Broken Arrow did. Rainfall amounts almost a foot. You're looking at just under 11 inches in this area around Broken Arrow. The hottest spot of the state right here on the south end of the Creek Turnpike, and looks like Elm Street and South 9th Street. You guys just got pummeled there. All right, we do have some other heavier rainfall here in northeast Oklahoma too. Don't leave you guys out. 9 to nearly 10 inches of rain up the turnpike around Lone Chapel. All right, so there you go. So that's what we talked about, flash flooding being a problem this weekend just because of so much rain over a short period of time. We can be thankful we had a drought leading into this, or this would have been far worse, and we still have more rain to come for tonight, and that's going to still lead to that threat of flash flooding. Now here's a look at the infrared satellite viewpoint, which does show quite a bit of cloudiness and some thunderstorm activity here continuing out across Arkansas and Missouri, and then like the little stretch of stuff redeveloping south of the metro on into northwestern Texas. Temperatures out there to the 60s over the body of the state. You can see where the warm front is down here in southeast Oklahoma. They got some 70s down here. You can see where a cold front is. They got some 40s up here in the Panhandle. Goodwell 47, Hooker 47 as well. All right, let's take a look here. The winds, not nearly strong, obviously. They haven't been here really today. Mostly kind of out of a southeasterly fetch for the most part over most of the state of Oklahoma. All right, let's take a look at your severe weather threat. This is the Storm Prediction Center, so it kind of focuses here across from the Great Lakes on down through Texas on into Oklahoma. Here's a close-up view of that for the Norman area in central Oklahoma. Slight risk here in yellow. Enhanced once you get from around Durant up into the east. The tornado potential is medium. Hail size up to golf balls, maximum winds 60 to 80. Medium is in the yellow, which is way over here in the southeastern part of this area of the state. Otherwise, from Oklahoma City north and west, on the very low side, because we're going to be on the far western fringe of the activity for tomorrow. Here's a look at Tulsa. We're going to break that down for you as well. Here's the severe weather threat. So enhanced in orange, covers a good chunk of the eastern third of the state, also in Arkansas and Missouri. Elevated tornado potential, again up to about golf ball size hail, winds up to around 70 to 80, which is your standard typical stuff. And of course, our flash flood watch will continue across the area. Widespread 2 to 4 inches of rain still coming. We're still going to have more in the bucket. Some places probably higher than that. Could be up to 10 inches. Yes, another 10 inches. Yes, I'll show you here in a minute. Flash flood safety. Remember, when the streets and roads are flooded, turn around, don't drown. Get to higher ground. Do not drive through the water. You don't know if the roads have been washed out. Make sure you obviously stay abreast of all the latest information. And when it comes to tornadoes, there's a few guidelines for you. The worst options for seeking shelter from a tornado is a mobile home. A vehicle is number 2 to that. And underneath a highway overpass, number 3. Those are the worst options you do not want to utilize. Bad options are large open rooms like gymnasiums, large churches, for example, also. Manufactured housing. Those are not good options either. Better options are interior room of well-constructed home or building. A basement, even better than that. And of course, the best option is above and or below ground storm shelters, as long as they are compliant with regulations, specifically designed as a FEMA safe room. So obviously this is your best option. Just stay away from the worst option, and you usually are doing okay. Okay, let's take a look here at the breakdown of this. This is a close-up view of the enhanced risk we talked about across the eastern third of the state. You can see how it does kind of cover the central corridor around I-35. Here's the tornado outlook. You can see the hatched area across the eastern third of Oklahoma. So that's the most favored region for developing a tornado within a probability of this point of 25 miles. It's about up to around 15% in this region. Now, if you look at the AI algorithms that try to predict where tornadoes will occur as well, and they do pretty good, actually. I've been watching this NATO cast here for a few years, and it's got some swings and misses every now and then, but in most part, it's in the ballpark. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's going a little high tomorrow. It's got around a 30 to 45% probability here of seeing a tornado, which means it's pretty robust. It's pretty confident that we're going to have a few tornadoes in this area, especially across northwestern Arkansas, southwest Missouri, and the eastern about 4th or 5th of Oklahoma. The hatched area is a 10% chance of an EF2. In other words, it also thinks there's probably going to be a strong tornado within this as well. So keep your eyes out for tomorrow afternoon and evening, as we do have one more round of severe storms in our short-term future. Here is a look at the upper-level storm system. This is the jet stream pattern. This is the upper-level system out here coming in from the southwest. This is our upper-level low. It's going to zip on through for tomorrow. There's midday into the afternoon. The lift out ahead of it triggers right here. You can see the influence in the data with the showers and thunderstorms here. This main batch of energy will swing through Monday night on into Tuesday morning, and that will put the end of the rain for a little while. And then look what happens on its heels. A new one dives into the Four Corners area by the time we hit to Thursday. So could we have a resurgence of severe weather for Thursday and the Friday maybe as this storm system then comes across? Possibly. I didn't look long-term details at that. Obviously been a little busy, but that would be our next storm system. Okay, so for the mid-level lift in the atmosphere, where you see these brighter colors right here, indicates where you're going to get the most concentrated and heaviest shower and thunderstorm activity. So you can see how this kind of wavers along, probably along the 850 front is what this is going for tonight, midnight hours. So just south of Oklahoma City, pretty much right up to Tulsa, and then points down southwest from there. And that lifts to the north, as a warm front typically does, with the approaching upper-level storm system as it swings through. So the overnight, early morning hours, this boundary is going to be the focus for a lot of heavy rainfall. All right, then that really shifts north into northwestern Oklahoma during the morning hours. So we're in the warm sector. And then by mid-morning, there's already a lot of strong lift here in the atmosphere to get storm systems to redevelop. And so by lunchtime, they're already working through the I-35 corridor. And then for the afternoon, most of the heavier lift that is now situated across the eastern third of the state, as we alluded to before. And there's the evening hours to midnight. And then there's on into the daybreak hours for Tuesday. Finally out of the state of Oklahoma, and then what's left of it, the lift moves through Arkansas and far eastern Texas. That's kind of the big picture of how things are unfolding. So the devil's in the details, of course, and we're looking at the dew point values and the wind at the surface. So for Monday, look at the high-res NAM here. You know, a lot of times it depends on how far north the surface warm front can go. Now, this particular model has, I'm going to really call it a cold front, even though this is supposed to be a warm front, only because it's almost like there's a little meso high that's keeping a northeast wind in this component, which is preventing our warm front from really surging back through the state. So it's been kind of interesting. It kind of forces it to kind of run up against through Oklahoma City and run up something about like so with our area of low pressure that develops here. And then, of course, you're going to have some drier air that kicks in behind it. It comes into this fashion as well. We kind of call that a dry line. It won't be a very hard line, the sand dry line. It's going to be a little bit of a mixed out one, but it will be a convergence into some southwest and westerly winds that come in. So it's really just kind of focusing a lot of moisture convergence and wind convergence in this zone for the middle of tomorrow. So that's what's really going to help get those thunderstorms to go early. And those will gradually shift off to the east as we head to the afternoon. So we go to the 4 and 5 o'clock, most of the activities, here's a southwest wind now, focused for the better instability ingredients. It's kind of in this zone at this point. So you can see how we're kind of shoving it out of the body of the state. Definitely west of I-35 for Monday afternoon is free and clear. We have all of our big moisture out here. Now, if you want to look at the forecast soundings, for example, into that area, I just picked a random spot on the map because the atmosphere is so moist. Our lifting condensation level, in other words, you can reach up and touch the bottom of the clouds and actually touch the clouds with your hands. That's extremely low. I mean, you could honestly, you might be able to do it. You might be able to get on your roof, reach up, and go, "Hey, I can touch a cloud." That's how low these lifting condensation levels are going to be tomorrow across eastern Oklahoma due to all the moisture around and the fact that the temperature and the dew points are just about the same. So that means extremely saturated. We basically form the cloud at ground level. Now, the possible hazard type when this occurs is a PDS tornado, which means a particularly dangerous situation. Significant hail size up around 2+ inches in the analogs. And we have our significant tornado parameter, which checks all the whisker boxes of an EF2 and EF3 tornado, no problem. In other words, so some of these parameters are pretty stout and robust for a significant, strong tornado tomorrow into eastern Oklahoma. So you have to watch that very carefully. What I'm going to do is back this up just a hair so I can show you what happens around lunchtime for the greater Oklahoma City metro area. And, how are we looking, with our conditions here? I'll just pick 1 o'clock, go into the juice here on the southwest side of town. We also have a possible hazard type of a tornado, but not nearly as loaded as what eastern Oklahoma was. They had just a little bit better ingredients to work with just to have a little bit more of an outcome. But we have adequate turning at the lower levels of the atmosphere. And we do have those low lifting condensation levels, and the whisker plot boxes were up around EF2 or less for the tornado strength. So, conditions are there. They're favorable that something may happen. So any storms that do move through the I-35 corridor here tomorrow around lunchtime, which is an odd time to have it, they can be tornadic. All right, let's see how that breaks down into the latest data tonight. Okay, so as we head toward the midnight hour, how's it doing right now? 10 o'clock. Not bad. It actually does pretty good with where it thinks things are kind of located. It's a little off right here, but otherwise it did fairly well at picking up the new development out there. So as we go overnight, let's go to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That is, we're going to have those thunderstorms start to work their way back into central Oklahoma. Oklahoma City metro area points out to the west through 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So when you get up in the morning for your Monday morning commute, it is already going to be wet with scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'll go ahead and do a point forecast sounding just for this time of the day. Now, the difference is here, we have a very stout nose of warm air. All right, so we're actually pretty stable at the lower levels of the atmosphere. This should preclude any tornadic development. We are not rooted in the boundary layer at this point in time of the day. So as long as this model is correct in its assertion of the parameters for tomorrow morning, then that should not be the case. It should just be a lot of heavy rainfall. Okay, so let's go to 7 o'clock in the morning, 8, 9. You can see Tulsa's getting some heavy rainfall by that point in time. Heavy rain out here in northwest Oklahoma around 10 o'clock in the morning. There's our secondary line of thunderstorms now beginning to bubble up here just west of I-35 here at noontime. As we head into the afternoon from noon to 1, there are those thunderstorms. And we'll see how much, the models that have much here, but remember, it also put the kibosh on the warm front retreat. Remember, I had the warm front retreat doing something like this, so keeping us on the cold side on this part here. Now, can that warm front do something like this? Sure can. I mean, that's not that far to go. So it'll be in the area, and if you're along and south of that warm front, there's your tornado risk. All right, so there's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So basically from Oklahoma City southward down I-35. As you head into the 3 o'clock hour and 4, those heavier thunderstorms now start to move off here into eastern Oklahoma, and things start to improve and get better here in central and western Oklahoma for the time being. So there's 6 o'clock, where you got some really nasty heavy thunderstorms out here across eastern Oklahoma moving on through. Tulsa's starting to dry out in the evening as well. And then you have that wraparound stuff in Kansas and northwest Oklahoma Monday night, but no big deal there. And that's pretty much all said and done. There you go. All right, I'm going to put the NAM last day for Thursday, 6 a.m. Little shower activity there. It's as far out as that goes. All right, we'll deal with that later. Okay, the HER model is another short-term model. It looks like it has about the same look. Let me double check here. It should have a very similar outcome, and it does. There's 11 o'clock and noon where we get most of our thunderstorm activity here in central Oklahoma. And then after about 2 o'clock, everything starts to move east on into Tulsa, southward. And for 4, 5, and 6 o'clock, far eastern Oklahoma. So pretty much the exact same output from both models. Let's see. Let's go with the experimental Rufus. So Rufus is just the way the acronym spells out. Let's see here. They got some more tweaking to do on this one, but let's just see what it does. Quite robust at 10 a.m. And 11 a.m. It has a lot more helicity tracks within this data than what the other two models had, so it's gotten quite a bit more excited, a little bit more excitable than the other. And for the afternoon, same thing, some pretty meaty looking supercells. That's 2 o'clock out here east of I-35. A little different profile. I see what it's doing. They're having some tough time with the moisture at the lower levels. It's not quite as moist as the other two models were, and it should be. So I think there's a little bit of a bias here. They'll probably tweak out. Because we should be pretty saturated out here. But anyway, 4 o'clock, there's where all the active action is. So it's not much different from the others. It's just a little more aggressive. By the way, the probability from our HER model, when it tries to find out if there's going to be a tornado in any given spot, this is over a 40-kilometer radius. In other words, 1 point, probability of 1 point, one tornado within a 40-kilometer radius. And I want you to see how low the probabilities are. All right, so this is central Oklahoma, so 5%, 6%, 7%, 6% up here. So that's a far cry different look when you're looking statistics-wise versus the big bright colors that we show you, which can really scare the tar out of you. When you look at the nitty-gritty dirty numbers, they're really not that high. For example, today, I'll show you what the model did today. Let's see, max probability. It had 2, 3%, 4%, and we didn't have much going on today. So if you notice, tomorrow, it's just a little higher, but not much. So that's good. So unless the model comes in tonight and it's just extremely different than what it was from before, again, it's an overall lower probability. All right, just big picture. I'm just going to sweep through. This is about a dozen different models just to show you the rainfall totals from tonight through Tuesday morning. And your focus is going to be where the bullseye shifts around and just show you how expansive it is, because we're not just talking about Oklahoma, obviously. So there's the European AI, the other European here, the non-AI version. Let's see, there's Canadian, there's the American, there's the American AI, there's the HER, And there's another one of these high-res cam models. See, a lot of this stuff is anchored over southwestern Missouri, northwest Arkansas for this next big hit, along with eastern Oklahoma. There's the Icon, the German model. Here's some of our new high-resolution experimental models here. They're loving that area of northwest Arkansas. By the way, all these areas here, that's anywhere from 7, 8, 9, 10 inches of rain. See, there's the NAM, high-res and low-res. There's the blend of models, the conservative one that kind of puts them all together in one basket. Let's see, there's the RAP, Canadian high-res, there's Rufus, and the UK Met. All right, so we're going to zoom in, and we'll show you. This is what the blend of models looks like. So still not bad. We've still got some decent rain coming. I like seeing these lower amounts than I do the upper amounts, but I have a feeling we're going to see some of the upper amounts in there just because of the way things go. So for example, this is the rainfall amounts from tonight through Tuesday morning when this whole system is over with, and it still has 6 to 7 inches of rain in pockets out here across eastern Oklahoma, where obviously they've already had a lot of rainfall, and so that's how you're easily getting in excess of a foot of rain over just a couple of days around here. The NAM also favors this area hard, pretty hit, 9, 10 inches of rain, in addition to what's already occurred. Remember, I'm going to put this map back up here for you, right here. Now, this area here, luckily, it's not here. All right, so we're gonna juxtapose this, but I believe this other map we're looking at, it's shifted in this zone. This is McAllister here, Muskogee here. So let's see what happens here. Minimize this, Muskogee and McAllister, and there's that hard line in the sand just to the west of it. So back to here, Muskogee, McAllister, and the hard line in the sand back to the west. So look at that. If we could time that out just right, that means the bulk of that foot of rain that may come gets into an area that was not hit already with this stuff up here, which was 6 to 7 inches of rain. It'd be good to spread the love around, wouldn't it? So let's hope that's what happens in that case. All right, temperature-wise, here's a look at your numbers. So pretty much holding in the low 70s for tomorrow. We'll be back into a chilly high of 59 on Tuesday. Make sure you got your jackets around. My goodness, what a raw day. 43 in the morning. Let's see, going to be 40s looks like most of the next several days. Daytime highs are back into the 60s as well. We do finally get to warm things up for you by the time we head into the middle of November for briefly a little run into the upper 60s to right around 70. But we have clearly changed our weather pattern, and we flipped it on a dime, and we went completely from hot and drought to just wet and cold. Reminder, we do have another cold front that will come through here either Thursday or Friday. It may not be much of a front, or it could stall the whole system out there. It may not even come across. I didn't look at it, but this is the area we would watch to see if that were to occur and to produce any more additional rainfall. So one last look here at the current radar. If you are late and you just tuned in, you missed the whole thing. No tornado warnings across the state at all. Matter of fact, no severe thunderstorm warnings, but we do have lots of heavy rainfall that is developing along, looks like an elevated 850 front stretching from southeastern Oklahoma into and just south of Norman to Purcell to Lindsay, back down here into southern and southwestern Oklahoma. So we'll get more showers and storms overnight tonight. Again, anything we can get may cause some flooding. The flooding situation, just don't drive through flooded roadways unless you just want to total out your car. If you want to total out your car, you're looking for an insurance claim and they handle flooding from dumb things like driving through 4 feet of water, go for it. I would advise it. Let's see. Anything else I want to bring up? I think it's about it. So download my weather app. It's free. It's called AT's Weather to Go. It's Apple and Google Play. It doesn't cost you a thing. And every now and then out of the blue, I'll get people that I don't know what they do. They have something on their phone. They click on. They got something on their browser. It's usually malware, spam, something. iPhones. There's like some iPhone thing that says you were caught looking at a website. Now you have 43 infections. That thing goes around. This stuff's been around forever. So if you see that kind of stuff, don't click on it. Just go and remove it. Google what you see on the screen, or what you can do even now. You can do a screenshot of whatever it is you do have, and Google Lens it. So put in, go to google.com and hit the little lens button and upload that screenshot, and it'll tell you where it came from, what it is, and how to get rid of it. But don't click on stuff. If it says you need to pay money, Don't pay money. I don't know what you clicked on, but it isn't my app. It's free. Always has been. I hate when people get taken advantage of. I had a poor lady. Oh, she's paying $49 a month now because I don't know what she clicked on, but she thought she was doing something and wants my help. I'm just like, I can't help you on that deal. I'd clear your browser, cache, all that kind of stuff on your phones because those things will kind of hide in there. And like if you have a Safari and pop it up on your iPhone, sometimes those things will keep popping up. So there's some methods out there. You can Google it, how to get rid of that stuff. And obviously, if you do buy something, you need to cancel it on your credit card because it's probably a scammer anyway. And good luck contacting them to get your money back. So unfortunately, you just got to be real vigilant in today's tech days with all this stuff. And there are con men everywhere that take advantage of you all the time. It's so infuriating. I call them NPCs. Because they do not have a soul. There's no way they can have a soul. Seriously. There is no way any human being can look at themselves daily in a mirror and rip people off on a daily basis, take food off their plate, food out of the mouths of their own kids, and go to bed at night and feel just fine. They are not human. So therefore they are NPCs and they are without a soul. That's kind of my conclusion. That's it. That's the only logical conclusion there can possibly be. So watch out for those when you're looking at your electronics devices. I will be around tomorrow. Of course, I got to work during the day, and so we do have some of these thunderstorms. Midday, I probably won't be able to do much for you. I have to take vacation time off, and I'm burnt out, and I don't want to do that. So just use my weather app. It'll guide you for that information. When I do get home, though, and if there are still a threat of tornadic storms around, late afternoon and evening, I'll keep tabs on radar for that. And if those do look like they'll be developing, I will kind of cover those. But I think that's about it for me. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. Hope you're going to do well, and I hope you've done good so far with the rainfall out there. If you do have any storm damage related to hail or wind, make sure you reach out to my boy Jamie over at Ferguson Roof Systems. He fixed my roof a couple weeks ago, and I've been looking. Nope, no leaks, Jamie. We're good. Had some hail today, though. It was teeny tiny. It was like sonic ice. It lasted for like 20 seconds. So no more hail. I don't want no more of that nonsense. Also, as a reminder, because things do fall faulty, I mentioned this yesterday or earlier today. I can't remember. I think it was earlier today. This is a no weather radio. Real simple, real easy. You can program them to go off only in your area that you want, and you can tell it which alerts to give you. I have pretty much everything turned off except for tornado and I think flash flooding. Maybe one other one, but that's about it. But anyway, this one's on my Amazon store for like $30. This is the one I use. This is the most popular, most common, easy use. Can't mess it up, and it works flawlessly. It just sits there and does what it does. Again, my weather app is good to use too. Sirens, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It depends on, of course, A, if they're functioning. B, there's no universal system for sirens. So in other words, there has to be someone there to trigger it, either remotely or locally, depending on how old the system is and how they have interface to it. Emergency management, they may not jive from one county to the next. There's no coordination. Some of them will wait for the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning before they hit the sirens. Others, if they have like their firefighter see a tornado, they'll put out the siren, like in a small town and stuff. So it just all depends. There is no rhyme or reason, and they're really only made kind of like a last minute. If you're outdoors, you're like, hey dummy, I don't know if you're paying attention, but look around you, there's been a tornado sighted, right? So that's usually how they're supposed to be used. So they're not really used for indoor use because our homes are getting better insulated, so it's going to get harder and harder to hear those if you're too far away anyway. So that's another downfall from that. But you need to have multiple ways to get a warning, redundancy we call it, so that if something does fail, you have other ways to get that information. And when you are talking about tornadoes, it is always the same line. It is the most center part of any sturdy structure you can find as quickly as possible, lowest floor, away from all outside walls and windows. If you have anything to surround you to help protect you from debris, use it. It can be clothes, it can be, we call for the kids, the sporting gear, we call it a mattress, you can use the bathtub, you can use a stairwell, whatever it is, right? This is between you and the outside, and you want to make sure you have as many things to protect you between the two. I think that's about it. Again, thanks for you guys checking in off and on for Instagram. So my plan is going forward to keep you in the on the live broadcast for that as well. So and thanks for everybody who watches on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter X. Just make sure you like and subscribe. Last thing I will say before I go, because I have not done a lot of lives during the summer and or during the fall, because we haven't had any weather to talk about, the algorithms are likely going to turn off your notifications when I go live. So to help with that, just to make it easy on yourself and me, whatever page you're on, uncheck the notification button, whatever it is, the setting that you have it on, and then recheck it, reapply it, and make sure you have selected to get all notifications, especially on the live video stuff. And then that should reactivate their algorithms and turn it back on for you. Because I can't, I don't have any control over that. I can guarantee you, if it's got a snooze feature built in where it kind of went to sleep, because there wasn't enough lives going out every week, that may have been enacted. And I don't know. The only way I think to bypass that is just to go ahead and toggle your selection on and off and see if that does it. Because I've had a few of you kind of message me behind the scenes going, "What's up with YouTube?" I said, "I don't know. YouTube always warned me all the time." So, okay, so that's it for me. I'm out of here. You guys have a great rest of your night. Be careful out there from the flooding. Hopefully we'll see no more tornadoes tomorrow, but I have a feeling data does indicate we probably are going to see a few, so we'll have to deal with that. Otherwise, you guys be safe. We'll talk soon. Take care.